I want to make this video on Elder Joseph the Hesychast, Saint Joseph the Hesychast, a modern day saint um, of the 20th century, the 20th century saint of Greece, who became a great hesychast, one of the greats, one of the all-time greats of hesychasm, of asceticism, a modern day great ascetic. He strove, he pushed himself. But he worked with divine grace and he relied on mercy. That's the mercy rope he has there, the prayer rope of the Orthodox Church. It was his weapon, not just sheer willpower, but the prayer rope. These are his letters, absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to read an excerpt from this now. This book is high octane, beautiful book. Actually, some chap, something potato or something, I'll put the link in. He reads it really well, just nice and soberly, nice and gravely. It's beautiful, beautifully clearly read. He's read the whole lot and stuck it onto his channel. But it's a great book. If you can afford it, it's well worth buying. I got mine for 30 quid at a local monastery. It's high octane stuff that's basically, it's written by Elder Ephraim of Arizona, who is himself established about 50 monasteries and in America, and was a very holy man. And it's written about all his knowledge of Saint Joseph and the brotherhood. So the various holy men who lived alongside, they were very ascetical and they struggled tremendously. And they had great encounters with God. And all of this is encountered, as well as great wisdom is passed on to the reader, such as you can see here in the table of contents. It's a phenomenal book. An absolutely phenomenal page turner of a book that just puts fire in your belly. A beautiful read. Monastic wisdom. Now, just before I read it, what I'm interested in is this idea of spiritual lifting as opposed to weightlifting, body lifting, being all about the body. Online, there's an awful interest. There's a massive interest, obviously, in weightlifting, body lifting, powerlifting, ultra running, and all these things. And there are, people like David Goggins who are, there to be admired and have a great message about pushing oneself out of mediocrity, out of failure into achievement. And I was listening to David Goggins last night when I came home, and it was all about, find your why, and you can do anything. His why is, he really wants to do this. He really wants to push himself, to callous his mind, to become invincible as he sees it. But the place he's coming from isn't exactly in resonance with, shall we say, traditional Christianity or orthodoxy, although there's some overlaps. Of course there is. This idea of if you have a big enough why, you can achieve anything. You can find a resonance of that with Elder Joseph the Hesychast. He had a big enough why. He really wanted to pursue God and to pursue holiness and union with God, theosis. And therefore he was able to do things that most people just would have thought out of reach humanly. And the same with his disciples. Had a big enough why. So we'll look at that in a minute. But of course, this idea of just focusing on the body, the body, the body, the body. Of course, this is where the world is going to come from because it ignores the soul. It doesn't know the soul. The soul is opened up to us by the Holy Spirit through the work of the liturgy, through the work of prayer, through the ambience of the living church and abiding church. When I go to liturgy, I become aware. When I visit a monastery, an Orthodox monastery, and spend time there, through the grace of God, one becomes aware gradually. I am a soul. I am a soul, and this soul is far more powerful in every way than my body. The body is like a little puppy to sit down in obedience before the soul, and it's in the soul, and principally the eye of the soul, the nous, that we experience God, that we are illuminated by God, and become, as Elder Joseph is going to say in this letter, the breath of God, breathed out by God, one with God, being his breath. Okay, let's open the text.